How long should your podcast be? Now, this is a question I get asked a lot. People always come up to me and they said, "Hey, I want to start a new podcast. How long should it be?" Well, let me show you a few examples. One of the most popular podcasts right now out there is the Joe Rogan Experience. Now, look how long his podcasts are. Some are 40 minutes, some are over 2 hours, some are almost 3 hours, some are an hour and a half. They're all over the place, right? But as you can tell, they're really long. Now, let's look at this podcast, okay? It's called the Fearless Entrepreneurship Podcast. You can see most of these are around that 30-minute. Some are under 30 minutes, but they're pretty consistent and they're not as long as the other one. Now let me show you this Love and Luck podcast. These are all almost under 10 minutes. There are a few a little bit over, but mostly I can listen to like 2 or 3 of these, just in one sitting. Okay. So from there, you can kind of tell that podcasts vary from length. Some are short, some are long. And really, your podcast should be as long as it needs to be. So the answer is, it should be as long as it needs to be. I want you to remember this. I'm going to go ahead and bold this and I'm going to make it huge because that's the answer. It should be as long as it needs to be. So if you think your podcast needs to be an hour, then it should be an hour. If you think it needs to be 5 minutes, then it should be 5 minutes. It does not matter as long as your podcast is as long as it needs to be. So remember that. Now, that being said, there is some rules that you would like to follow or kind of, just guidance to look at. So let me show you what that is. So it really depends on how often you post. If you're posting 1 to 2 times a week or 1 to 2 times a month, then it should be 60 minutes or more. As you can see, if we go back to Joe Rogan's, as you can see, he posts kind of every other week. And in the week, maybe it's 1, 2, maybe even 3 times. It's different things. So they're long. That's why they're so long because, people only get to listen to him, once a week or twice a week or maybe once a month. Now, if you do it every day, then you want to do about 5 to 10 minutes. If we go back to the Love and Luck, as you can tell, it's not almost every day, but it's pretty close, as you can tell. It's like almost every other day, if you can look at the dates. Now, that being said, they've done it much shorter. They've done that 10-minute sweet spot because now I have more podcasts of yours to listen to in that week. Now, the perfect length, and this is from experience and kind of experiment, is around that 20 to 25 minutes. Now, let me use the entrepreneurship one as an example. These people, their biggest, their target audience is entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs don't have time, right? These are people that are starting their business. They work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. They really don't have time to sit down and listen to an hour-long podcast, right? So when do they normally listen to podcasts? They listen to it on their drive. And if you think about it, most commutes take about 20 to 25 minutes. Even if it's 10 minutes in the morning and then 10 minutes at night from work, it's still 20 minutes. That way they can finish a podcast within that day. If it's, 60 minutes, 2 hours, an hour and a half, it takes them a few days to finish. But this way they can finish it quick and fast. And if you think about it, most people are working. Most people don't have time to sit down and listen for long periods of time. And a lot of people, and this is backed up by studies, even my own experience, that a lot of people listen to podcasts when they're driving. So normally your commute, if it's to work or if it's to your girlfriend's house or your boyfriend's house or whatever, is typically around 20 minutes. The full, there and back. It could be longer, it could be shorter, but the average is around 20 to 25 minutes. So if you keep the podcast around that time, that's really your sweet spot. So remember, a podcast really should be as long as it needs to be. There's a few rules, like I just showed you, that you should follow, but again, make it as long as it needs to be for you.
You've been watching Podmeo. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and also subscribe by hitting that red button below this video so we can bring more videos like this to you every single day. Thank you.